What is good, NIO family? It's Rey-Jay back with another video, and in this one I'm going to be talking about the one and only NIO stock and what you should be looking after for the future. I'm also going to break down what's going on with the market right now and how this could affect NIO and some very big things that just came out involving NIO's expectations for deliveries going forward. Why NIO is expecting some crazy big numbers for this year and why this could actually help the share price improve big time going forward. Now, before I break anything down about this, before I talk about why under the NIO share price could absolutely explode in the future still, I do have to mention a couple of things before starting. Firstly, I'm not a financial planner. Make sure you take none of this as financial advice whatsoever. And also, if you guys can, please smash the like button if you want to see more videos like this. It not only benefits me, it benefits the entire NIO community as a whole. And the last things, if you guys can, please check out the Moomoo link down below in the description. If you sign up for Moomoo with the link down below and deposit $100 into the account, you're guaranteed 7 free stocks, and 5 out of those 7 free stocks could be a free NIO share. It's a limited time offer. The offer ends in just 7 days. Check it out before they run out. With that out of the way, let's get on with the video. NIO is down 2.16% for the day on Friday. Overall, she is actually starting a bit of a downtrend. We are seeing a potential head and shoulders playing out, and she may even slow down going forward. Now, I want to note that there is some fundamental backing behind this move because NIO did not have the best of earnings. However, at the same time, it's also the overall market that's starting to slow down a bit. We're starting to see more and more of tech stocks out there slow down. And that in turn is actually affecting how the market is moving going forward. Now, the thing about this is, yes, NIO might slow down going into the next couple of weeks, next few months. We could see NIO slow down, and the whole market could drag NIO down lower. It is a real possibility. Everyone needs to be prepared for that. But it's not the end of the world. It's not the end for NIO. And I'm going to explain exactly why that is. The first thing you have to remember is the fact that NIO is a company that has been setting itself up for greatness. That's because of the fact that they set some very great expectations for investors. And it's not really about could they meet these expectations or not. It's more about how does this push them forward. And NIO just said they're very confident that they are going to achieve their 2023 sales target. This is for the whole 2023 of 250,000 sales of electric vehicles for this year alone. They're very confident. They're very confident. That's some very good news. This is also what the chief financial officer, Stephen Fang, I apologize if I said that wrong, is also saying. And in my opinion, this is very bullish news for the longer term. Now, how can NIO actually achieve this? Is this BS? One thing you have to remember about setting high goals is the fact that they do motivate, incentivize, and push companies to work even harder and do a much better job. So even if NIO came short of this and they only give us like 220,000, that is still a crazy amount of growth compared to where they were last year and the year before that. Let me just explain exactly why. So first, you have to look at the facts that NIO has been actually increasing their capacities. I know this 500,000 number is a bit of an exaggeration, but they have been consistently trying to grow and actually make their vehicles a lot more affordable, especially going forward. They also entered the second construction phase of NIO Park just a couple of months ago, and they're continuing to schedule more and more launches of their new brand, their new products, their new production facilities that are going to help them meet these goals. If you look at this article right here, NIO's F1 factory produces many new models from the ES8, the ES6, ET7, ES7, and etc. And they're producing new upgraded production lines that are going to help them reach 300,000 vehicles per year, or at least something like that. Now, once again, these numbers are not always going to be like accurate or always perfect, but the bottom line is they're working very hard to improve their products, design more cars, and then build them on a massive scale so that they can start selling more of them across China and then also potentially in other European countries going forward. Could they expand to the USA? That's a real possibility, but I'm not really counting on it for the time being because of how tensions are. But it is still possible. I'm not ruling it out. But even if they don't end up doing that, the US is just one big market. Europe is also absolutely massive. So is China. China is the biggest EV market in the world as of right now. So they're still in a very, very good place. They're in the hotspot of EV sales, and I do believe they still have immense growth because of that. But I want to break this down from a more realistic standpoint. Look at NIO's monthly deliveries, and what you'll notice is the blue lines are 2020. Look at how small and how tiny the amount of deliveries were in 2020 amidst the pandemic times. They were doing just a few thousand per month back then. 2021 comes, and what are we seeing? We're seeing them do over like 6,000, 5,000, 6,000 a month, something like that. And then near the end, they started doing almost like 10,000. One of the trends you'll notice is the fact that we tend to get big increases in November and December too. And then 2022 comes, and you'll notice we had about 8,000 in January, another 8,000 in February, big slowdowns in April, May, because of the fact that there were lockdowns. In June, they made up for it with a crazy, crazy good report. They did slow down a bit, getting about 10,000, just under 10,000 around like July time. Then near the very end of the year, they were doing crazy high numbers, and that's what tends to happen. So now going into this year, the first 2 months alone, they're at 20,000. So they're actually a little bit short of achieving, I would say, the rate at which they should be delivering cars at if they want to meet those goals. But that's still not a bad report because 12,000 deliveries in a month is not bad. That's also a very big month over month increase. But here's the bottom line. If they want to achieve 250,000 vehicles delivered, they need to average about 20 or more than 20,000 per month. We got 8,000, then we got 12,000, and I'm sure they're going to break this every single month with the upgrades. I believe they're going to have to start getting closer to 20,000 deliveries per month if they want to achieve that goal. Now, for March, if you look at the previous trends, January and February were a little slow, at least last year, and we saw a big increase like around March time. We would have seen more increases in April and May if it wasn't for the lockdowns. Then by June, July, we had very, very good numbers. So I'm thinking that we're going to see a lot of upgrades for NIO, and I do believe it is realistically possible for them to get to like 15,000, then 17,000, then 20,000. If they keep expanding, especially near the very end of the year, they could get some very, very strong numbers by the time we get to June. If they get very strong numbers by June time, 25,000 per month is possible. And then by the time we achieve numbers like that, what's going to happen in November and December? They might be able to achieve 20 something thousand, maybe even 30,000, who knows, per month. And if they meet numbers like that, it's going to be possible for them to achieve at least 200,000 deliveries for the month, in my opinion. I think that's possible and very, very realistic. I think NIO could achieve that. I'm not too sure about 250,000 given what we just got from January and February. I think 250,000 is a real possibility. And one thing about NIO is they do love to blow investors away. Yes, they have some struggling quarters every now and then. Once in a while, they miss on deliveries. Once in a while, they end up like missing on margins. But a lot of it's happening because of external factors. That's not necessarily the company's and the management's fault, at least for the most part. And I believe the resilience of this company will help it prevail. And I do believe NIO is going to give us some crazy high deliveries for this year. And I believe as the months pass by, good delivery reports over and over again. The next one's coming out in a little bit over a week. But once again, when they keep giving us good reports, the people that were buying this thing at $8 are going to be so excited because the share price is going to start soaring even more. NIO was heavily shorted, as I mentioned in my previous video, and one day alone we saw over 7 million NIO shares shorted. So a lot of these shorts are likely going to get squeezed in the future if they keep on trying to short NIO and it keeps getting these massive fundamental improvements. I also want to note that, like I was saying earlier, if the share price gets smacked down again because of the market, because of manipulation and all these different factors, $8 a share, 8.5 a share, $7 a share, I don't really care because non-financial advice, I'm still buying like crazy. I'm going to be buying and buying and buying these dips because going into the future, and when I talk about the future, I'm not talking about 10 years in the future. First off, the bull market's going to start pretty quickly. Within a year or two, we're going to be back in the full-on bull market. NIO is going to explode. The market's going to rally, most likely. I don't think it's going to take as long as some people are thinking because of how manipulated the market is. I would say like within a year or maybe 2 years, depending on financial conditions. Uh, after the market tanks. The market already dropped a lot in 2022. We also saw a lot of small caps crash since 2021. It's been a while, so I wouldn't be surprised if the bull market doesn't start for another. It could even start near the end of this year, maybe next year, sometime during next year, mid to late next year. Who knows when? But the bottom line is that's only a year away, a little over a year. That's not that long. Time is going to fly. We're not super, super far away from you know, getting close to 2024, entering 2025. Eventually, the market's going to rally. Eventually, NIO's going to rally. Eventually, shorts are going to get squeezed. And eventually, all right, the fundamentals will take over. It could even start like later during this year. The fundamental improvements, NIO, breaking news comes out. NIO delivers 20,000 cars in just 1 month. Breaking news, 25,000 deliveries for NIO. The share price could still start soaring. It could even start in a few months, right? Big moves. And if it gets smacked down, that's okay with me because I know it has so much potential. We just have to be patient. The current economy in the market is not in the best of states. It's really slowing down the markets. But I believe if we remain patient and we don't give up, so much could still come out of NIO. I also want to note NIO, in my opinion, going into many, many years, all right, and by like sometime next year, maybe a little after next year, it's going to break this high. It's going to break $55, $70. I believe it will most likely do that. And getting this thing at $9, $8 is one hell of a steal, in my opinion. I'm still very bullish on this company. So, with that said, I want to thank you all so much for listening. Thank you all so much and have a very, very awesome weekend. Remain calm, cool, and collected, and I'll see you guys in the next one. NIO to the moon because the long term future is still incredibly bright, and peace out.